welcome to the S1 podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You watched our previous video in regards to who we are, what we do, and a little bit about the DEP program, boot camp, and just our perspectives going forward. I promised myself, because I went in with the intentions of, we should explain why we joined. I went in. I made a choice at junior level high school. I was like, I had to make a choice. Either I'm going to go in debt and go to college, or I'm going to go in the military. And the reason why the military became an option in my mind was because that recruiter was the only recruiter that came to my high school. I'm the first one to go to the military, first one to go to college, first one to have my own house, first one to have my own business. So I'm a first for many. So the military route I wasn't thinking of until I saw the recruiter. For them to go to that school where there's usually like 4 to 6 police officers in the hallways.
That's why they chose that school, man. They want us killers.
That's the prime. There's no other service going close to that school.
Air Force, get the fuck out of here. run for your life.
But yeah, no, I chose for my family. I want to have 5 kids. I want to have a family. So I was like, you know what? I need to have this foundation in my life, the sacrifice in my life to get the benefits and allow them to pay for school so that I'm not in debt and I can provide for my family at one point in time. And then also add structure. I think the biggest thing for me when I was a kid was I talked too much. I didn't know when to open my mouth. I got in a lot of fights from that. Exactly. And you know what straightened me out? Boot camp. Boot camp definitely straightened me out. I had one drill instructor. I was supposed to have 3 drill instructors and a senior drill instructor. I had one drill instructor because 2 of them got kicked out, and the senior drill instructor was like on some marriage stuff. So I had one small ass sergeant. He was Asian and he ran that joint. He had like top tier drill, so on and so forth. We'll get into that. But, oh yeah, I bet. Hey, the last one of it's whatever. But that's the reason why I joined. It's important to weigh the pros and cons of you got to think about your physical health, right? I'm 60% disabled. My boy Segura, our boy Segura Christian, he's 90% disabled, trying to shoot for 100. So physical perspective, right? Mental perspective. That transition when you get consumed, when you get brainwashed, that's what they do. The whole boot camp experience is a brainwashing effect. You stay somewhere for 4 years. It's a whole different community. It's a whole different atmosphere. When you go through that experience, it changes your perspective of life. So you have to consider that factor as well. So physical, you have to consider the mental, and you have to consider the emotional. So the emotional is you have to be with your family. Can you not be with your family? How about your girlfriend? You need to marry her to bring her there, and that's a whole other thing. I told myself it's going to lead to my 3 things. I was never going to marry a stripper. I'm never going to do a contract marriage with a stripper. I'm not going to buy a Mustang or a Challenger. No. And I'm not going to re-enlist. Into boot camp. Let's get inside, in depth. Let's go phase by phase. What's the situation, right? So this is what we're going to lead up to, right? So we did the in-depth process. In-depth process last video. We touched on that pretty heavily. The RSS, the whole situation with that. We just touched heavily on recruiters now. We touched a little bit about MEPS program. So DEP program, messing this up. DEP program, and then MEPS situation with MEPS, the facility, the administrative paperwork to get going, and then boot camp, right? We're doing this as chronologically as possible. Okay, so boot camp, all right. You have the West Coast side. I have the East Coast side. Let's go phase by phase. Please understand that once we go over this, things could have changed. This is we were in boot camp 4 years ago, so something slightly changed.
This was for me. It was summer/fall of 2018.
Okay, for me it was winter of 2018, so February to May. So
it was for me September to December.
Okay.
2018.
So that's what we know. The seasons could change and the perspectives could change, and things to consider could be a variable. But generally speaking, we have a general understanding that could help you and benefit you even further than the average videos that you get online that you see all these drill instructors just yelling in your face, and it doesn't. You already know that you're going to be yelled in the face if you're in the Marines. Every other branch, maybe not, but
like, hey,
you already know the basics of that. You already know the bus. You already know the yellow footprints. You already know like generally what things look like. But let's get deeper into that. Let's get personal connections into the phases. And now we'll start with the West Coast. Go right ahead.
Okay. It's like there's a lot of confusion. Like you don't know what's happening. Like that's the whole point, because you don't really know what's happening. It's supposed to simulate a fog of war environment of like there's like a million different things happening, but you have no idea what's happening, but you still have to follow instructions. And so you just you're gonna get herded around like cattle the first week, which is receiving week. And you're not training at all during that time. You're still basically doing like the administrative paperwork and like, getting your camis, getting your equipment that you need, getting haircuts, doing, drug tests, getting all your vaccines and shots that they have to give you when you get there. and that's the entire first week. Nothing really happens the entire first week. I don't remember if they PT'd us or not, but I do remember at the end of the week on Black Friday, they had us do our last IST, and then that morning, or like right after the IST, you come back. I don't even know I don't remember if they even let us shower. We came back, got our camis on, and then that's when we got picked up by our drill instructors, and then they took us to our squad bay, and then that's when we met our drill instructors. Because the instructors who are going to take you around the first week of training, those are not, for the most part, those are probably not going to be your drill instructors for the entire 13 weeks. They're really just there to receive the recruits coming in and get them all the equipment that they need and basically get them all prepared paperwork wise so that they can start training. So that's part of phase one. Is the first week is receiving week. You're not going to be doing a whole lot. You're just going to be you're going to be standing in a lot of lines and getting yelled at for nothing. And then training starts. And then it's a lot of physical fitness. Like, it doesn't stop. I mean, it's physical the entire time, but phase one especially, they start teaching you drill, teach you how to march, teach you how to follow basic commands in drill. They also start showing you how to do what's called the Marine Corps Martial Arts Programs. MCMAP is what it's called for short. In between that, you're eating still 3 meals a day. You're sleeping 8-7 hours, at least for me, unless you have Firewatch, which you always do, which is 1 hour out of the night that you have to stand guard. At some point, I think I ran probably like 3 PFTs in the entire 13 weeks. I don't remember when they were. There's definitely at least one in phase one, and the PFTs, it's a 3 mile run in less than, I think, 28 minutes or 28 and 30 minutes, 28 minutes, 30 seconds. I don't remember.
What type of track was it?
What was that?
What type of track was it?
It was like a gravel dirt
Okay.
track. It was much better than cement, which is what I'd been training on before boot camp. So I was flying. Like, I was never the best runner by all means. I was like always like, I hate running. Was never that good at it. But even I was having a breeze for the most part on that road. And so you got a 3 mile run in a certain amount of time. You got to do pull-ups, which I think the minimum is 6. It's either 4 or 5 or 6. And the perfect score is now like 22 pull-ups.
Okay.
And then it used to be crunches when I joined, but now they're doing planks. And I think the perfect score for that is, I think, to like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Like I said, like, things have changed since then. And then you'll finish off phase one. I think phase one is how many weeks? Trying to find it. I'm not sure though.
We'll go back and forth on phases. So you start one, I'll do the other.
Yeah. So anyways, though, phase one, at least for me, it ended with initial drill.
Okay.
Which is, you've been learning how to march properly and follow commands. And at some point, they'll give you rifles, and you'll have to do movements with rifles. And this thing that you do at the end of phase one called initial drill is basically the first drill test, which is, the entire company is going to be tested by a platoon on how good they perform drill, which is basically just following the commands correctly. And you'll be surprised how many people screw up. Initial drill is the time that you screw up. Like, you're going to screw up initial drill. Every platoon does, and they all suffer for it. But that's where you figure out where you're at, and then from there they just train you harder for final drill.
Right.
And that really matters. Final drill is very important to get correctly. Nobody can get dropped for it, but it's one of those things where it's like you want to represent your drill instructor well, because you take care of them, they take care of you. That's how phase one ends, with initial drill. And then you want to go into phase two?
Yeah, no, I'll go with phase one of East Coast.
Okay.
We'll just go back and forth on the phases. So All right, so East Coast, right? Paris Island, all right? So depending on where you go or where you're coming from, most likely you're going to take a plane ride to South Carolina Airport. Quote me if I'm wrong. Maybe
I don't fucking know, dude.
I'm
That's
not.
all
I'm
you,
not.
man.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. But South Carolina Airport, you already know what an airport looks like. Okay. Situation that goes down there is something similar to the West Coast. There is a office that is part of the airport that holds the recruits for a certain amount of time. I arrived with basically just my outfit and my paperwork from MEPS. I sat there probably about 4 or 5 hours. At this point, it's probably roughly around 11, 12 o'clock at night, East Coast time in South Carolina. The bus ride from the airport to boot camp is about a 15, 20-minute ride. Same thing, head down. I was counting the lights that were passing by. That was my way of just like, I don't know, if I had to, do my thing and run away and all that. I knew how many lights I had to do. We counted 56, by the way. I still remember that number. Head down, right? Late at night, you're kind of tired. You just got off a plane. You don't know what to expect. Same situation. You get to the boot camp. Drill instructor comes in. Hey, get up, get down, sit up, sit up, sit down, get out, get out, get out, hurry up, get on the yellow footprints, monumental moment, boom, right there, right? Then you go to the golden doors. You sit in these little desks that are right in front of the golden doors, or right behind the golden doors. I say the golden doors there's like a medallion that is in front of the door. About. Yeah, you probably have it on the West Coast too.
No, we don't have it, but I've seen those in the videos.
In the videos, yeah. So so let me explain a little bit more of the golden. I think the gold medallion represents the recruiting depot Cigna. That's what I think it is. I haven't looked at the details specifically of what it looks like, but that's what I believe what it is. So you sit down on the desks, you answer the paperwork, and then you get your phone call, right? So once you're done with the paperwork, the initial paperwork, you go to the left, and that's where you have these little prison block cell phones where you're calling your parents at 11, 12 o'clock at night. They're not going to answer. So I so happen to be the last one there, and I'm getting screamed at by 3 drill instructors while I'm trying to call my family. I'm just like, you know what? Hey, you already hear what's going on. See you later, alligator. And then I go online, get haircuts, do that situation. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you again for watching the full 15 minutes of just a portion of this video. Please, all these videos are much longer with more detail, furthering our discovery and our wisdom that we have with what we know and our experiences. Please follow the link below in the description for our Buzzsprout. Our Buzzsprout allows us for free post our full-length videos, going deeper inside. If you find some value whatsoever between us, or you like us, if you watched our intro videos, this is what we do. This is what we represent, and we've been more than welcoming you onto our Buzzsprout. It's free to go on there. No login necessary. Go on there. It's a full-on podcast for free. No paid. Not looking for money here. Looking to add value into someone's life. All right. I'll see you there. Thank you, gentlemen.